Hey guys, it's your girl Kizzy Rock, and yes, Kizzy Rock is my birth given name. Happy Wednesday. Happy hump day. I want to say hey to all my subscribers, new as well as season. I got a word for you. Tap in. Happy Wednesday, guys. Happy hump day, my chosen brothers and sisters. So guys, I want to speak to you guys in regards to a download I received on yesterday after doing an interview with a potential staff. And it led me to make this recording on God is trying to give you a fresh start. You cannot heal in the very environment that traumatized you. Because we are in the end times, the enemy is literally just throwing out narcissists left to right, left to right, left to right, left to right. And in people on ignorance just means not knowing. You're trying to battle that spirit from the flesh. Narcissism is a spirit, and you must know what you're dealing with because that spirit can take your mind. In addition, with the climate of the world, everyone have just used that word like it's Tic Tacs, right? Meaning every person that you meet, you're a narcissist, that's a narcissist, right? When truth of the matter is, that person may not be a narcissist. They can just be a liar, right? Just a lying spirit, a spirit of deception. You're just a manipulator. You're just a cheater. You're just a scammer, right? People can have those things without being a narcissist per se. And I say that to say because you must know truly what you're dealing with. This is something you must conquer in the spiritual realm. Many chosen people, it's never all in anything, but many chosen people have experienced narc abuse. This can look like in childhood, let it be parents, teachers, siblings, just someone who raised you, or maybe later on in life through relationships and marriages or just whatever. But many chosen people have dealt with narc abuse. From a spiritual stance, I truly believe the enemy knew very early on, like you would be called. And so what he did was he planted that seed very early on. He sent you and exposed you to a narcissist very early on, or right before a major breakthrough. That's a very heavy spirit, and it's a very dangerous spirit. These folks can truly take your mind if you're not careful. The sad part about it is that when you're under that spirit, you're like in a trance, and you don't even realize that you're not even yourself. You're like in a trance, and other people can see it on you, but you can't see it for yourself. This is why I think it's very important to kind of be firm and be be firm and be transparent and be honest with people that you may recognize as dealing with it. But also you got to give grace, right? Patience, etc. Because they may not even realize that thing is on them until they start to see some kind of light for them to come up out of that situation. So I had an interview yesterday. And one thing about me, because I'm such a spiritual person, I'm the person, and I'm such a spiritually sensitive person, I'm the person, if I'm honest, it can be a person who, there can be two people, and one person can have everything that looks great on paper. Seriously. I mean, their resume is top notch in the sense of what I'm looking for, I should say. And then another person, their resume may not be top notch. In fact, they may even have some type of minor conviction, just depends. And spiritually, if I see a person is struggling more, and I realize that God can use this as a leeway to really help them and assist them out of a bad situation, right? Now, hear me. You got to still use wisdom, and because in just ignorance, I've done that before, and oh my God, honey, it was a whole disaster. It was a whole zoo, right? So you got to know, you got to let God lead. Never mind, I'll get too far there. So I had this conversation yesterday with a good female. And initially, you're going over your baseline questions, things like that. But then the more I spoke, she said, I just want to be honest with you. And I said, please, this is where a lot of people don't understand. Sometimes people, well, for myself, 100%, a person will respect you more for your truth rather than lying. Even if I don't agree with that truth, the fact that you're honest and truthful, right, it actually shows more about your character than somebody who would blatantly lie to you. So she said, I'm from such and such state, another state. And I had to get away because I was dating someone for a long time, some years, and quote unquote, how you don't really know a person until, you really get to know a person, or when you're ready to leave them. Like, the person who you met is not the person you divorce, or the person you met is not the person they're not the same person once things go sour. You really start to see people. And she said, I needed to get away because this person was like threatening me, etc. And so I came here because I have a family member here, and this is probably the only place that they don't even know that I'm at. And I mean, from logic, it's like, well, wait a minute, like, are you on the run in the sense of this person? Because you got to use common sense too, right? Like, because this can be a danger to everyone involved if we're going to be honest here, right? But the more she kept speaking, right? Because it now went from just that until like a further conversation, maybe for like 30 minutes. So now, mind you, I already have like 4 other people lined up to speak to. And I'm ready to end this conversation because I already kind of knew, like, this is just not that, but some other things, this is not going to be a good fit. But then I heard the Spirit say, no, but sit here. Even if you can't hire her, sit here. And I turned my car off because I was sitting at the post office ready to go inside, and right? So I turned my car off and I just sat and I just let her, she got it all out. So she vented for like 30 minutes. And then after, she said, I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry because I'm sure, this is not a good look because this is the first time and the only time I've been able to vent because others judged the situation and judged me because I just couldn't leave because they thought I should leave. And so I didn't have anybody else to like ever speak to. And so I just held all this stuff in. And for the first time, I felt safe, right? I said, sis, I hear you. I understand you. And there is absolutely no judgment here. 0%. So here's the compassion side. But now I got to pour into you. I got to be real with you. I got to be honest with you, right? I said, yes, it's true. You're venting because you don't have anybody else to speak to because X, Y, and Z. That's true. But it's also true because what a narcissist do is a narcissist will shut you down so much that you're almost afraid to say anything, right? Eggshells. It's like you're walking on eggshells. Okay, so there's times when you're afraid to say anything because you don't know what you're going to get, right? And then you're also afraid to say anything because one day when you do it, they receive it like, oh, this is so great, whatever it is. You're like, they admire you one day because you did this, and the next day you do the same thing, and now they put you down and they make you feel like crap. An example, okay, let me give an example for that. Let's just say you cooked, I don't know, give me a dish. I don't know, you cooked some oxtails last Wednesday, and them oxtails, honey, was busting, seriously, right? And when you gave them out those oxtails that day, honey, they praised you. Like, oh, man, thank you. Like, oh, my goodness, this is so good. This is that and third. You treat me so well, blah, blah, blah. All right, now, the next week, you cook the oxtails the same way. In your mind, you are so happy before you go up them steps, honey, because you just know you about to, like, make them all excited. They're going to love these oxtails again. Like, you're trying to get on their good side. Like, you know, because with the narcissist, you can never please them. So your confidence is already to the floor. And now when you go to take these oxtails a second time, it's like, I didn't even ask you to cook this. Why are you cooking this? You cook this again? In fact, it's not even good. It's tough. I mean, you can't even cook. You see that high to that low, that high to that low, that high to that low? So you learn to bottle everything up. You just don't say anything. And so I told her, in addition to not being able to speak to your friends, is also because you held everything in and you could never speak around the narcissist. And so now you're finally getting everything out. And what you don't realize is you're actually freeing yourself. And she's like, oh my God, I didn't even think about that. I said, also, hear this with a spiritual ear, because if you're going to hear it with the flesh, you're going to be offended. It's going to feel like rejection. It's going to feel like judgment. Only because your spirit is already low. Your confidence is already low. Your self-esteem is already low. So anything that anyone says to you is going to feel like a blow, because the narcissist has already conditioned you to feel that way. I said, when you were speaking to me the whole 30 minutes, I heard you. I heard your words. Like, okay, so her physical words was like, but I tried everything. I tried, like, I would get jobs and take care of us, and you know, he would get a job, and then he would self-sabotage, and when he would lose a job, because he would only keep a job for 3 months or 6 months, he would lose a job, and then when he get back home, he will say things like, well, the people at the job don't like me. Oh, so you really want me to go back to an environment where people are like just judging me? So you really want me to go back there and everybody hates me, and now I come home and now you're hating me? And then she'll say, well, no, okay, I'll get a second job. No worry, I don't want you back there. And when it's like, I try to do this, and it's never good enough. And you know, I just, right? These were words. So the point is, I could hear her words, which is the typical manipulation of a narcissist, right? That's what they do. They mind screw you. They mind screw you. They manipulate you. Right. So that's normal. But from a spiritual, sensitive aspect, I didn't use these words because I really didn't want to like really sting her. But it sounds like your mind is slipping. It sounds like your mind is slipping. It sounds like you're having a nervous breakdown. There's a lot of stuttering. There's a lot of hesitation. There's a lot of, I can't really describe it. If you've ever been in situations where like it feels like you know what, Satan is so mad, but I bind you up, right? I'm going to get this word out. Guys, 1 second, please. I'm sorry. If you've ever dealt with narc abuse or dealt with just a person who manipulates you or just whatever, or maybe on the edge of a nervous breakdown, and it feels like your mind, people don't understand. This is why I tell people you got to be careful. You out here judging people that's walking around talking to themselves, or people who's dealing with mental illness, or like you out here judging and laughing at people. Do you know your mind can slip from under your feet just like this? This is why I don't play with grace. When people want to keep throwing grace around and God already told you to get up out of a situation 1,000 years ago and you keep talking about grace, grace, grace. Listen. And when I said it to her, I'm thankful that she actually received it. Like at least she didn't say she was or sounded offended, but I really felt like she received it. I don't know, maybe if others have said it to her. But it was very, very troublesome. Because just through listening to her, I could hear fear. I could hear the confusion. I can hear the doubt. I can hear that I don't even know if I don't even know if I want a job, because I don't even know if I'm gonna. So that was another question to ask her. I said, well, here's the thing. I'm not a short-term girl, right? Anything I do, I like stability. I like long-term, et cetera, et cetera. I said, from the beginning of the conversation, because this is why I ask questions first, because you can't change your answers up on me, right? Men, find somebody else to play with. Kizzy, stay serious. Okay. So you're looking more for short term. So with that being said, does that mean that you're not over him? And hear me well. If you say, I still love this man more than, I don't know, oxtails, honey, no judgment whatsoever. Because I understand that this is a spirit where the outside people will be like, you are so stupid. You're so, like, they're judging you because they're going based on the physical, fleshly aspect that you can't leave this person. And for my good brothers, if any of you guys are listening and you're in a situation, I'm not trying to be biased, right? Because we know there's women out here who are narcissists, but I'm speaking about a specific situation yesterday. So please just take your scenario, plug it in, get in where you fit in. But I know from a spiritual point, that thing have you bound and tied until you break that spirit. You can run from here to Mexico. If you haven't broken that spirit is going to follow you to Mexico. And you'll be craving them more from Mexico than if you were in the same household. And she said, oh, absolutely. I won't even sit here and lie. I still love him. But I had to get away. I had to leave everything behind. I don't have anything. All I have is the clothes on my back. I had to leave everything because, he was becoming very, threatening, this, that, and the third. So I had to leave. All right, now, from spiritual, I understand it. From common sense and logic, okay, listen, this man can call you back by the weekend, and you leave this job and you go. Because I already know the spirit is not broken. See, you just feel adamant about it because you're in a new environment and you really feel excited about, like, and that's great. Truly, it's great because a new environment gives you that. But it only gives you that during the beginning. Once you get settled here and things become quiet again and it's no longer exciting because it's no longer the first week that you're there, that spirit is going to start calling you again. And now you're going to say, well, maybe I can just have one conversation. Because they're going to send flying monkeys. They're going to find you. They're going to send flying monkeys. They're going to create fake social medias, right? So that spirit is going to find a way to connect with your spirit. So now you see the difference on why I always say, even when it comes down to, like, even with those of you like myself who are evolving humanity, you got to know that there's a fine line between helping, and giving, meaning from a spiritual place, rather than emotions. When you do it from emotions, it's a disaster. You're going to get burned every time. So you must let the Spirit guide in every situation, because as chosen ones, our spirits are just not designed to like turn people down, or like if people are really struggling, like being able to kind of just walk away. Like, we're just not physically and fleshly designed a lot of the times. But spiritually, you got to sit and let the Holy Spirit guide you with wisdom. Because if not, the very person that you're trying to help from an emotional standpoint, they're going to burn you. Because see, they themselves are in survivor mode. And it's not that they even want, I mean, they may want to, but they're not even thinking about you. They're in survivor mode. So they're going to tell you anything they want to tell you to just get whatever they can get to soothe whatever they got going on in that survivor mode. And here you are with a big heart. Oh, I'm just so loyal and I'm just going to help you. And now when they burn you, it's like, oh my goodness, I'm never helping anybody again in my life. No. I'm going to learn from this. I'm going to cut you off. Let God deal with you. Let the Spirit lead me to the next person to assist and help. I'm not going to block my blessings because one person fumbled. Absolutely not. I went and left there really quickly. Okay, so I said, I'm going to ask you a question. You do not have to answer it. And trust me, it wouldn't even be, well, I actually, I guess I told a fib there. I was like, it will not, guys, that's my brain. So, honey, the enemy is all over the place right now. My brain system went from low to loud. It will not discourage if I decide to move forward with you, it will not discourage your application process. But really, I'm just going to ask you, are you a believer? Point blank period. Are you a believer? And she said, well, she paused for a while. And she said, well, I actually was raised in church, or I know parents who are pastors. But sometimes with pastors' kids, like they can turn like they become more of a rebel, right? Because you're trying to force certain things on them or whatever. She said, but if I'm honest with you, like I've been really like, I'll use the word tapped out for a long time. And I said, I only asked you that because that spirit that you're trying to conquer, that's a spirit. You can't conquer that with flesh. You can't conquer that with just running away. You can't conquer that doing anything fleshly. Now, granted, you must take steps in the physical, but you got to let God guide your steps. Because there's strategy that God will give you. You got to follow your strategy. But in order to get your strategy, you got to tap back in. And this is why the narcissist have pulled you away from God. Because the narcissist already know if you stay tap in, God's going to show you everything about the narcissist and how to leave the narcissist. So what do narcissists do? They pull you away from God. Let it be through distraction or just making you think like something's wrong with your church, or don't go to that church because this is that and the third, right? They'll find you a way to keep you from tapping in spiritually. Let it be just church itself, or just reading your word, or just the secret place, whatever the case may be. I said, listen, no judgment here, right? I'm definitely not no huge religious person, right? I have a relationship with my Lord and Savior Jesus Christ, point blank, period. Right? So I'm not judging you based on the fact that you haven't been to church in a long time. Because when the last time I've been to an actual physical building? Pastor R.C. Blake's when I was in Houston. Lord, Pastor, if you listening, I have not been to a church since then. I mean, I've been in church, right? But not online church, but not a physical building is the point I'm trying to make. So there's no way around it. right? See, because, I always tell people, if you, listen, I'm going to ask you if you want me just to listen to you and vent, or do you want my opinion? Because once you say, well, no, I want your opinion, listen, I'm just going to give it to you. I'm just going to give it to you, right? And don't even mean that I got to figure it all out, right? I got people who give it to me, right? You're going to have to get tapped back in. You're going to have to get tapped back in, sis. You're going to have to get tapped back in. I'm not telling you got to go to church, but you got to get tapped back in. You got to go back to the Lord. And don't feel like you can't go back because you ain't been there in so long. Don't feel like you can't go back because you've been with this narcissist and y'all been shacking up or whatever y'all had going on. Right. Don't feel like you can't go back because this is that and the third. Go back, sis. It's the only way. It's the only way. You're in another place. You're in a new state. And your mind is still slipping. The environment don't change the spirit. The environment don't conquer the spirit. It is the Holy Spirit that will conquer that spirit. So I believe you made the first right step. Well, in her case, again, to me, the first right step would be sitting with the Lord, letting the Lord guide you. But there's a great chance, who knows, but there's a very, very good chance that if you had tapped back in, even at home, in the state you came from, there's a great chance God would have pulled you and send you somewhere else. Now, that may not be for everybody. Somewhere else could be a new house, right? Because maybe the narcissist that you know ain't as crazy as this one, right? That can be a town 40 miles over. But a lot of the times, you're talking about, in her situation, you're talking about 8 years here. You're not talking about a year of narc abuse. 8 years. That thing is rooted. But a lot of the times, you may, again, hear me, this is not for everybody. You may have an instruction to relocate. But again, you got to get to the secret place first. Because God will tell you because you may be here and God may not even have called you here, right? So you got to get your instructions first by sitting with God first. All right, so if God does say relocate, let's just say, if he does says relocate, then you're going to have firm instructions. Okay, so applying for a job is great, obviously. You want to take care of yourself, right? But you're still going to have instructions based on how your narcissist moves. So that can look like God's going to give you firm, clear, and I mean firm, clear instructions. Change your number. Block every person who can potentially be a flying monkey. And it's going to be so difficult because many times it's going to be people that you were maybe really fond of, like maybe his mom, maybe his children that maybe you were a part of their lives, right? She doesn't have children at all. Actually, she's in her 40s, but she doesn't have children at all. So thank God for that. There's no children because my God, I could not imagine a person who's in this situation and have children from a narcissist. And you have to figure out what co-parenting look like. Oh my, I couldn't even imagine. But I'm sure God will obviously give clear instructions for that too. Whatever directions that the Holy Spirit gives, it must be obedience over emotions because your emotions are not going to want to do it. Remember, you are still spiritually tied to this person. You're in bondage to this person. Your spirit is longing for this person. Your self-esteem and confidence is to the floor, so you don't even believe that you're worthy enough to really start over. A lot of the times, you're going to have to start over. And what happens with starting over? Everything must be dismantled. So in her case, she left everything. her home. She left everything, furniture, all that stuff. I actually think, I guess from a physical thought, I think that's a great idea. Even spiritual, but I can't say it because, again, she didn't tap in first. But I think that's amazing. Because 8 years, at this point, you probably built a lot of things together. There's a lot of things attached, spiritually attached. But I'll tell you this. If God ever gives the instruction to leave now, never look back, leave everything. If God gives that instruction, He will take care of you wherever you're going. God will never, ever tell you to leave something. Now, we can do that on our own accord and get somewhere, and honey, it's a whole zoo, right? But if God ever gives you the instruction to leave, and you take that jump and that step based on faith and conviction, honey, when you get to where you're going, God will open up the windows of heaven for you. Now, here's the thing. For me, I still don't have direction yet. Now, I do have clear direction that business-wise, I can't. But God may, I don't know. I don't have a conviction about it. I do have kind of like a standby type of thing, right? So it may be another way that God may use me. It could just be words. It could be co-signing her name to another person who may be, right? So you see the point here. God will always open up the windows of heaven for you. He'll make a way. It may be a connection to lead her to a woman's shelter, right? Until she completes this process. So the point is, He will always make a way once you get there. But the biggest battle and the biggest struggle, because I asked her, if I'm honest, I don't believe she told me the truth. I could be wrong. But I asked her if because she's been left him for I think a month and a half or so. I asked her if she spoke with him since she left, and she said no. But I just, something in my spirit convicted me and said that was not true. But it's okay. I understand. So the point is, you're going to have firm instructions. You must follow every instruction. And your instruction may not be the same as hers or his. This is why you got to tap in for yourself. Because the instructions are going to snap things off in the spiritual realm. See, again, you're trying to fight something in this physical realm. Like, for example, God may say, leave, and you're feeling like, well, wait a minute, we got $8,000 in this bank together, and most of it is mine. But God said, leave. God said, don't touch it. Now, I'm not saying don't do that, right? I'm not saying that. I'm trying to give an instruction that, example of what can be an instruction and how it will snap something in the spiritual realm. All right, so God says, leave, and don't worry about the $8,000. Just go. I'll give you more when you get where you're going. And you may feel like, well, wait a minute, I've done work 3-4 years to save this money, and he's not going to take my money and use it on the next woman. Honey, that is all flesh, right? He's not going to take my money and move the next chick. Honey, that is all flesh. You are trying to save your life right now. You ain't got time to let pride get in the way. Honey, if he want to take that money, you really need to be praying for the next chick. You need to be praying for the next chick because you already know what she about to go through, right? God knows something you don't know. It's something tying you spiritually to that money. Because your money is a spirit. Money is a spirit. So there's something tying you to that money. And that person is going to be able to control you some kind of way through that money. So it's keeping ties together. See, that narcissist is like a spider web. So it keeps things all tied. So many times you got to break that thing, like break it, leave, and don't look back. Anything associated with people, places, or things is going to keep you tied up. When the flying monkeys come, and the flying monkeys will find you, when the flying monkeys come and say things like, well, why would you leave? I don't know, such and such said that he didn't do anything to you, she didn't do anything to you, and you just left, and they're crying, and like, why would you? Because you know they're going to tell lies on you, right? So now they done told the people you left, you probably stole everything. Honey, you didn't even take nothing. They're going to say you stole everything, like you caused this, you made them lose their job. They're going to make up all these lies on you. And those lies are only designed to get you to respond in anger and rage, which then opens up your spirit, which then allows their spirit to re-enter your open spirit. This is why God will tell you, do not respond. When you respond, because at this point, you're not even settled enough to be able to respond without emotions. Now, you will get to that point if God ever, like, if you have to still deal with that person, let it be from children together or whatever, you will get to the point where you can just smile and say, have a great day. But you're not there yet. You got a long way to go. So if you respond, you're going to respond in anger, you're cursing them out. Like, why would you tell such and no. They know what they're doing. They intentionally made the lie up. They're not crazy. Well, they are crazy, but they're not crazy. They know they made the lie up. So you don't have to tell them they made the lie up. They made the lie up. They know they made the lie up. They made the lie up to get you mad. For when the flying monkey calls you with the lie, you now curse them out, or you're enraged with the flying monkey. Even with the flying monkey, the spirit exists. They're the middle person. Most times they don't even know. They're just as blind as who knows. Change the number. Never look back. Block all flying monkeys. If the flying monkey does not understand, like, hey, listen, flying monkey. You know I love you, right? But you also know what I've been through. And for my own sanity, for my own health, mental and even physical at times, I have to move forward. This has nothing to do with you, but this person is going to use you. This is that and the third, right? I mean, you can explain it to the flying monkey, or you can just block the flying monkey and keep it moving, honey, right? But if you're really fond of the flying monkey, and the flying monkey may really, really, really be clueless, because the narc already made up all kind of lies, right? So who knows? Maybe if you want to have one conversation with the flying monkey and put boundaries in place, if you call my phone one more time and you bring this person's name up, right? This if you don't have convictions to block the flying monkey. You will have boundaries. And I'm asking you not to, respectfully, I don't want to talk about this person. If the flying monkey does it again, flying monkey, goodbye, you're blocked. And then you keep on and keep on. It's going to be a struggle, but you keep on every day and things will get better. You're going to have a period where you break. I mean, you break. Something's going to hit you. When you first get there, you're going to feel all excited because it's a new start and I'm finally free from all this drama and free from all this darkness and this is that and there. You're going to be very, very free. But then a time is going to come where you're going to drop because something's going to happen where in the spiritual realm, it closes off. Right? It closes off that spirit, but then you're still left feeling lost, confused, right? Because you're a new person now. You're rebuilding. So you're no longer that person. So now you got to start from the bottom. Now we're here. You got to start from the bottom. So because you're going to feel so empty, lost, depleted, don't know who you are, because the narc then stole your identity, right? You don't even know who you are. Honey, you were a people pleaser. So these are things that you're still going to be battling. So just because you left don't mean like you just leave and all of a sudden the next day you're a new person. Absolutely not. Now you got to go through your healing season. Your healing and rebuilding season. And you must, no matter how difficult those times get, because you're going to want to think about going back, because a lot of the times God won't even show you what's coming next, because he wants you to focus on the healing process. And because you're too busy trying to see, well, what's the next season? Am I going to get remarried? Am I going to get like a ministry? Am I going to get a new job? Right? You got to stay in the moment. Pray for grace to stay in the moment, because he can't release anything. You're too broken. You're going to broke anything that he releases to you. You just came out of a situation where a demon controlled your life. So he got to rebuild you, sis. He got to rebuild you, bro. And in this time, you may, because you feel... See, a lot of the times as people, when we're in a season where it feels like we're empty, because we kind of don't know what God is doing, or God is silent, and we want to be doing this, or we see the vision, but God is like, he has us stuck. A lot of the times, because we feel that way, we want to go get our hands in something, because peace don't even feel peaceful when you've been exposed to a narc. Peace is too quiet. Peace is not comfortable. Now, when you heal, you will block your daddy if he disturbs your peace. Honey, you will get to the point. Disturb my peace one time. One time. Harass my nerves. If you want. Play mind games if you want. Manipulate or attempt to manipulate if you want. One time. I'll see you when Jesus come home. Because within that healing process, that's when you discover peace. With the narcissist, you never had peace. You never had peace, honey. It was hell on wheels, right? So after your healing process, that is when you discover peace. So because you're still in the new healing process, the reason why you feel so uncomfortable right now is because God is developing peace within your spirit, and it feels very uncomfortable. You don't like that, so now you want to go and try to meet a new woman. Honey, she's going to be a witch too. And God going to shut it down. God is not going to let you. God already know you're weak right now. So you can try all you want. And your little feelings going to be so hurt because you're going to feel like you're getting rejected. I'm not pretty enough. Child, it has nothing to do with that. God is shutting everything down because he knows you can't even make the right decision. You couldn't make the right decision if you wanted to. How can you make a decision? How can you make a decision based on wisdom right now? And you're at ground zero. Make it make sense. He wants you to focus on rebuilding your spirit right now, rebuilding your confidence right now, rebuilding your self-esteem. Most importantly, building your connection with him right now, because it may have been altered, obviously, from dealing with, all that stuff. Because that stuff keeps you so tied up in distractions that you don't even have time to press in like that. In this season, many chosen people are in different seasons, but a lot of them are still tied to new levels, right? And maybe level 3 for one, and maybe level 10 for another, level 20 for another, and so on and so on and so on and so on. But many chosen people are in seasons right now where a new level, new blessings are coming. But you must play your part. You must be in alignment. You must be obedient. It is obedience over emotions. That's what will move and open the windows of heaven. Let me give you guys a quick example. Listen, people don't understand how obedient people just want to be disobedient because I mean, if we're going to be honest, I mean, it doesn't always feel good, if you will. But when you really see how obedience works, I don't even know if my guest is listening today. I mean, if she's listening, then she knows exactly what I'm about to say. So, guys, I spent a lot of money on vacation. I'm just going to keep it real with you. But it was well worth it in my God that I needed. And in fact, I deserve it, if I'm going to be honest. But when I came back, you guys know I do a lot of humanity work. In fact, I'm going to be posting some videos soon. And I got this conviction a couple of days ago. Now, I thought like I wouldn't have to do anything humanity-wise because I just spent some money on vacation. And so I got this conviction. I want you to do this, that, and the third. Now, mind you, all this is humanity stuff, like truly humanity stuff. And I'm like, Lord, wait a minute, because, I'm going to be honest. Like, I played a little too much and and he's like, wait a minute. So you about to tell me, because you went on vacation and overspent. I allowed you to go, have the time of your life. So you're telling me you're going to come back and question an instruction about humanity, purpose and calling, because you did something in the flesh? Oh, say no more. Say no more. I don't play about obedience because I know how God works. I don't play about obedience. I don't care about what I want to do. If God says do, if I know I've heard from God, I move. So I did what God asked me to do. I lie to you not. If my good sister is listening today, honey, you can confirm. I did what God told me to do. Didn't question it. Didn't complain. Didn't think twice about it. The same night, or the next day, my good sis, I guess I won't really get in details on what it was, but it had something to do with, I don't know. So anyway, she got a refund that we didn't even know that she was going to get a refund for something. I did something for her that contributed to something that needed to be done. This was back in August or September. She messaged me and said, sis, she sent me a picture of a check. She said, I didn't know that I was going to get this refund, but I want to give you the money back that you gave me for the thing. I didn't even, mind you, the money was probably three times triple than the instruction I had to, listen, people don't understand. It is not rocket science the way people try to make a thing, or religion try to make, like, people are so lost. There are spiritual laws, obedience and sacrifice. If you want the windows of heaven to open up over you, where you can stop hating on, well, not you chosen ones, because we don't do that, right? Stop hating on other people because you think God has favors. Get in alignment. Be obedient to what he asks you to do. There are spiritual laws that will literally open the windows of heaven for you. If God can trust you, God will blow your mind. I promise you. How did I get there? I don't even know. Obedience. Whatever God is telling you to do, do it. Even when it doesn't make sense, I promise you, just do it. If it don't make sense, just do it. If he says change, just block the person. Change the number. Just go. If he says go, just go. You don't have to have it all figured out. You do if it's not from God. If God says just go, just go. If he says start it, just start it. The enemy will have us thinking we got to get this done first. I got to do this. I got to wait till the kids are 35. I got to take another course. I got to lose 15 pounds. I got to. Child, is all a lie. If God says go, go. If God says do it, do it. Provision will meet you along the way. Favor will find you along the way. Connections will be built along the way. People will take your hand along the way. The very thing that he's calling you to leave behind. If we're honest, once a season once a season is ending, when dealing with a narcissist or even just like a relationship, meaning the season is over, nothing back there is even fulfilling anyway. Something happens where God dries everything up. You don't even want to be in the place anymore. It's that demonic spirit that keeps calling you back. But if you put the spirit aside for a second, there is nothing in that place you want. You're just afraid of the unknown, which is understandably so. But that unknown is where your due season is. That unknown is where that new husband, that new wife, that new ministry, that new connection, that new assignment, new blessings is in the new place. Child, ain't nothing back there but cow piss, horse piss. It's dark, it's dingy, it's rank. It gotta go. I gotta go. You guys have a great one. It's your girl, Kizzy Ross.